Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, episode 48.
It's time to reverse the imbalances in your life as you take the first step on your own journey towards personal change. Welcome to Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, educating, empowering, and inspiring individuals to live healthier. Now here are your hosts and your guides to natural living, Jamal and Kim.
Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and welcome to another episode of Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe podcast. I'm Kim, and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone.
And
peace and blessings.
Yes, and this is episode number 48, and we're going to dive into label reading. The last two episodes, episode 46 and 47, titled Holistic Health Beyond Nutrition. Jamal and I dove into personal care products and household care products and understanding the importance of using non-toxic, healthier options on your holistic health path. And so we wanted to kind of keep the ball rolling in this area in terms of ingredients, but dive into 5 ingredients you should avoid in your food. And that's the topic that we're going to dive into today.
Yeah, before we really dive into the list, I think it's important to just understand that when you buy a product, whether it's for your skin, whether it's for you to consume, it's important to understand that the ingredients list is the most important thing about that product.
Right.
Technically, the ingredients list should be in the front, and it just lists the ingredients so you can see what you're buying. If it's just a label, it doesn't matter how pretty the label is. It doesn't matter what the label says. If you're just reading a label, you have no idea what is in your product. So it's important for people to become label conscious. Mm-hmm. I remember when, I first started out on the path, I would literally spend hours at like the vitamin shop, just walking through, grabbing ingredients, reading them. I would spend hours at health food stores just reading labels. Obviously, I don't have that type of time now, but just understanding what was in certain products that I was consuming. And last night I was at the grocery store with my daughter, and we were looking at a couple of new products, and my daughter was asking me about certain cereals that were out. So I'm just like, all right, well, let's check it out. So I'm sitting here reading this label, and this guy comes up to me with his wife, and he was like, oh my gosh, like, you're actually reading a label. You don't know how good it feels to see someone else reading a label. And I'm laughing, and he's just like, yeah, so many people, they just walk in, they just see something and they're just grabbing it, grab. And they have no idea what they're putting into their shopping cart. And we just both had a laugh at it. But yeah, it's just really important to understand that the ingredients is the product. The ingredients is everything, not the nutritional value. Like, that's secondary. And then what's on the front of the label is third. But the main thing is the ingredients list. So we want to talk about the things that really kind of make products bad. We talk about staying away from processed foods. We understand that. Stay away from processed foods, but people don't really understand why they need to stay away from processed foods. A lot of times people ask us questions about, we tell them to stay away from processed food, and then they ask us questions about other foods that they can have, other processed foods that have the same ingredients, even though it says all natural, it has the same ingredients in them of the things that we want to try to have them avoid. So it's very important that you become label conscious. And when you start reading the ingredients list of the different foods and packages, foods of the packages that you're buying, it's important to really be mindful of this list that we're going to give you. And if you see the things on this list, you want to really try to avoid them.
Right. And I think also we mentioned in the previous 2 episodes about the power of marketing. So, you definitely, when you look at the front of the label, it kind of qualifies the product, but it's so much more important to turn that package over and look at the actual ingredients, because that is the truth of how healthy that product is.
Right. And if you didn't get a chance to go back and listen to the last 2 episodes that we did, I highly recommend to go back, check those out. because they are good to listen to before this one. But either way, you're good to go. What were the name of those? What was that? Episode 46 and 47?
Right. And it's the Holistic Health Beyond Nutrition. So episode 46 is jkhealthtribe.com/46. And episode 47, of course, is jkhealthtribe.com/47. And I'll link them up in today's show notes page. This is episode 48. So that's jkhealthtribe.com episode, or jkhealthtribe.com/48. I'll link all those episodes in today's show notes pages.
One thing that I do want to say in regards to the last two shows and the show today is that it's all about the accumulation. You know, when we continue to put a lot of these different things into our bodies, it has a cumulative effect and it begins to add up. So I think that it's important to understand, like, let's say if there is this special toothpaste that you absolutely love and you really don't want to part your ways with that particular toothpaste. If you've avoided all of the unnatural and harmful ingredients of everything else and you kept that one thing, now, and I personally wouldn't do that, but if you choose to, now the amounts that they're saying that you're getting that are non-toxic, now it's a little bit closer to the truth. I mean, you're having this day in and day out, so I think it's still something to think about. But if you've eliminated, 99% of these things and you have it every now and then, or if you have this one product that you just love and it has one of these things in it, it's not as toxic for you. So to understand, you don't necessarily have to let everything go, but that you should be moving toward living a life as natural as possible. I think that that's the most important thing. You don't have to be super extreme with it, but you do need to be mindful and you do need to understand and to be aware of what's going on. We live in a society where we're given choices. We're actually allowed to make choices. Like, alcohol is legal. Cigarettes are legal, and you have the choice whether you want to smoke or not. But you have to understand that if you continue to smoke on a regular basis, the chances of you coming down with cancer or some other major sickness is highly possible. If you're an alcoholic and you drink all the time, the possibility of you developing some type of disease and the alcohol destroying your life is highly possible. Right. Just like a lot of these different ingredients, is not up to the FDA and the manufacturers to make sure that you're moderately consuming these things. It's up to you. So just understand that you have a choice and you can decide the frequency at which you do and indulge in all of these different things and the type of impact that it's going to have on your life.
Yeah, definitely. So let's start diving into these 5 ingredients that you should avoid. Ingredient number 1 is sodium nitrite. And sodium nitrite is a cancer-causing preservative found in most processed food meats such as bacon, sausages, sandwich meats, hot dogs, and ham. And it's been linked to an increased risk of colon cancer. To be sure sodium nitrate does not end up in your system, it's best to opt for nitrite-free, uncured meat products from organic, grass-fed sources.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. We're definitely advocates of eating a plant-based diet, but there are people that are going to want to indulge in animal products. And if you're going to indulge in animal products, it doesn't matter, if that's your choice or not. But what you do want to make sure is that you're having it naturally. You don't want to have processed animal products and processed animal foods. So you have to be mindful that, like cold cuts and like Kim said, bacon and things of that nature, they have the nitrites in them. And those are things that you want to try to avoid. So you want to try to get your meat as fresh as possible, ideally directly from a farm or a butcher. And you want to know that it's organic and grass fed, and just know that you're putting the healthiest things into your body as possible.
Yeah. Ingredient Number 2 is aspartame or aspartame. I hear it back and forth. But this is an artificial sweetener, and it provides zero nutritional value, and it actually depletes your body from the nutrients of other foods. And when our bodies process aspartame in the digestive tract, a harmful byproduct is created, and it's associated with the formation of brain tumors.
Right. So it's not necessarily it's not saying that aspartame causes cancer. However, the byproduct of aspartame in your system can lead to cancer. So you want to be mindful of that. And aspartame really is in so many different products that are out there. It's all over the place. And so when you see something that says sugar-free, you automatically want to be aware that most likely they're putting some type of chemical sweetener into your product. I mean, think about it. It's a chemical sweetener. They're making it in a laboratory. And it's been also just connected to just headaches and just a lot of other functions that are going on that will disrupt your nervous system. And the interesting thing about it is, the mainstream industry, food industry has a tendency to, they make a lot of these diabetic products out there, and a person with diabetes, they can consume it because it won't raise their blood sugar levels. So a lot of the diabetic foods and diabetic friendly products out there have aspartame in them. But so you want to be mindful that if you have diabetes and you're consuming these foods, it might not disrupt your diabetes, but it's having a negative effect on other areas of your body.
Right.
Yeah.
The next ingredient, number 3, is hydrogenated oils. And hydrogenated oils such as soybean oil, canola oil, and corn oil, they're chemically extracted and modified to improve their smell, consistency, and taste. And they're high in unhealthy omega-6 fatty acids and are known to cause heart diseases, cancer, and diabetes.
Yeah, and it's important to understand that your body, like hydrogenated oils, is something that doesn't exist in nature. Mm-hmm. So when your body comes in contact with these oils, it really doesn't know what to do with them. It doesn't know how to consume them, and it really retards the cell. It causes like zombie-like activity within your cells. So you definitely want to stay away from hydrogenated oils. I remember when they came out with margarine. That's straight hydrogenated oil. And when they came out with with margarine, it used to be pushed as a health food, like it was a healthy alternative to butter. Wow. So people, left butter and they started having the chemical butter.
It's like straight concentrated dosages.
Yeah. And so they switched over to that. And then we found out that was destroying our health. And now everyone is running from the margarine and they're going back to the butter. This food industry is crazy. That's why you have to empower yourself and be mindful of what you're putting into your body and not just going along with health trends. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, the next ingredient, number 4, is a high fructose corn syrup. And next to refined sugars, high fructose corn syrup is one of the biggest cancer-causing food ingredients out there. It promotes diabetes and obesity, which both increases the risk of several types of cancer. And high fructose corn syrup and refined sugars cause significant insulin spikes and feeds the growth of cancer cells. And, this is one ingredient that I feel you see so much, and a lot of people don't really understand how dangerous this ingredient is. It's in so many children's products. I mean, even if it looks like such a more a healthier natural treat, like a fruit leather. Yeah. The other day I was over a friend's house and she said, because she knows that we're very label conscious. Can Sephora have this like fruit leather? It was like apple. I'm not going to say the brand name. And I was like, well, let me see. And it was like high fructose corn syrup followed by corn syrup. It was just, it blew my mind, that it's like, how can why does a fruit leather need high fructose corn syrup? A fruit is sweet, you know what I mean? So, it's just pretty crazy.
Yeah, this right here is, man, it's in it's in everything. I mean, they put it in ketchup, mayonnaise, they put it in cereals, they put it in bread, they put it in so many different products. They even put it in juice. You just to go buy some what you think is natural juice, it has that in it. They put it in soda. They put it in everything, and it's toxic. It's super, super concentrated. It puts a tremendous amount of stress on your liver, a tremendous amount of stress on your pancreas. It's totally unnatural. Most of the time it's coming from GMO corn. This is a monster among monsters, and I highly recommend that you begin weaning yourself off of high fructose corn syrup, because when you begin to start looking at your labels, you're going to see that it's everywhere. Salad dressings, it is everywhere, and you really have to go out of your way to avoid this stuff. But it's the best thing that you could do for yourself and your family to begin to move away from high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, and that's why just thinking about, our own Wellness Center, Life, Strength, and Health, a lot of our clients, they have to be put on a yeast candida cleanse because sugar feeds the yeast.
Yeah.
And whether you know it or not, when you're not label conscious and you consume a lot of products with this high fructose, like you're just feeding this yeast day in and day out, and it just keeps festering and growing, and it just becomes an overgrowth.
Yeah, and just cause a lot of damage to the body overall. And there is a movement going on, and people are becoming more aware of high fructose corn syrup. So the corn industry, they're actually trying to counter that move of people being more aware, and they're actually trying to trick you now. So because they were actually trying to make a move to have to be able to use the word all natural, because they feel like corn is natural and it comes from a natural source. So they're trying to make a move to be able to put all natural on high fructose corn syrup products. And they're also making a move to take off the high and just call it fructose corn syrup. Right. And then they're also making a move to take off the fructose and just call it corn syrup, or just fructose syrup. So if you see any of these names, just know it's the same exact thing. High fructose corn syrup. They're just disguising it so that they can still slip it into the different products that you're using.
Yeah, that's a deception.
Yeah.
And don't read the front of the labels. Right. Read the back.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. The last ingredient, number 5, is artificial colors. And artificial colorings are often made from petroleum byproducts and do not add any nutritional benefit. And a study published by the Center for Science reported on the toxicity of 9 synthetic dyes commonly used in food and beverages. They found that the colorings contributed to allergies and hyperactivity in children while increasing cancer risks. Some of the dyes are red, number 40, and yellow, number 5 and 6. They contain the chemical benzene, also a known carcinogen. And the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, claims that very little is known about the health effects of benzene, despite the mountain of evidence pointing at its cancer-causing potential. While most of the world has banned the use of artificial additives containing this compound, American companies freely use red 40 and yellow 5 and 6 in many common processed food products. Processed macaroni and cheese, for example, commonly use yellow 6 to bring out the food's bright yellow hue. Numerous studies have established a significant link between artificial food dyes and hyperactivity in children. An Australian study examining food dyes' effects on 200 children found that 75% of parents noticed an improvement in behavior and attention once dyes were eliminated from their child's diet. And also, did you want to go into estrogen enhancers or?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, another area, estrogen enhancers. Perhaps enhance isn't the best word because this isn't a good thing. Sunset yellow, which is yellow number 6, and tartrazine, which is yellow 5, have been shown to behave like estrogen in the human body. So why is this bad? Because high levels of estrogen, regardless of the source, can contribute to breast cancer and may decrease male sex drive, among other highly undesirable effects. Originally made from coal tar, food dyes now come from an unrefined fuel source, petroleum. Consuming petroleum in any amount isn't the most pleasant thought. However, that's just what you may be doing if you eat non-organic processed foods. Many popular sports drinks, sodas, and powdered mixes and energy drinks contain petroleum-derived food colorings. That's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. We just live in a society where we're visually driven, so we want to see the neon green drinks that look like antifreeze. We want to see those colored drinks, and those things excite us. I remember when I was young and they first came out with green ketchup, and everyone was buying this green ketchup saying, oh my gosh, if you've seen the green ketchup, it's so good. Mm-hmm. You know, meanwhile, they're putting all of these dyes in them. And most of the children's foods have dyes in them, you know, because they want to appeal to them with the different colors and things like that. Like it talks about the yellow number 5, and think about it. Like a popular flavor out there is lemon. We know a lemon is yellow, but when you squeeze a lemon, it's clear. You know, the inside of a lemon is clear. It's not yellow. So yellow is the universal color for lemon.
Right.
The lemonade has to be yellow when you buy it. Something lemon flavored, it has to be yellow. And they're using this dye that's connected to so many problems in our children. And then we wonder, first of all, it's full of high fructose corn syrup. Mm-hmm. So we got them bouncing off of the walls. We're contributing to stress and ADD, and then we have the other disruptors of the food coloring in there. So being mindful of food coloring is huge.
It's very
and then just the whole thing about the estrogen. You know, our men are being overfed with estrogen, from the estrogen that's in bottles to, you know, just a lot of the processed foods that have estrogen enhancers in them. And the dyes are contributing to that as well. So men, be very mindful of that. We talk about different things. We were the last show we did with Chef Will. Mm-hmm. We were talking about just men and how, you know, we don't want to take our health seriously until our equipment isn't working properly. And these are a lot of the things that we're unconsciously doing that's having an effect on our performance. And when we're not performing well, the first thing that Chef Will and myself do is we get you off of the processed foods, and we get you off of the things that are destroying your health, and we begin to put life back into your body to try to reverse a lot of the damage that was done.
Yeah, that was episode number 42. So just go to jkhealthtribe.com/42 for that interview with Chef Will.
Yeah, and I also want to thank Natural News. They did a lot of this research and put a lot of the links out there connected to the research. So they made it easy for us to just kind of compile the information to be able to present it to you today. So shout out to Mike Adams over there doing some great work.
You know, we're big on action steps because for some people, this might be the first time that they're hearing this, or you may have heard a little bit about it, but it certainly can become overwhelming, especially with children. Because it's hard to, as an adult, you can make switches and changes and kind of find your way and navigate your way. But with children, it's very difficult, especially if your children are in the traditional school system and they're around other kids. Like, how do you navigate through, you know, these harmful ingredients? And I always say, you know, this is a process that you live into. So just take one step at a time. Like, focus maybe on one ingredient. And, you know, when you purchase new products, make sure that ingredient isn't on the label, you know, and start with that and do it consistently. Don't just do it once in a while. if it's the food colorings or the high fructose corn syrup, start with that and slowly start to eliminate that from the products that you're consuming and giving to your children. And then it won't be so overwhelming. And then when that is normal, add another ingredient. Or if you're someone that's very aggressive, do them all. But the whole thing is just to start and do something. Don't just listen to this and, that's serious. And this, this is really dangerous. And then you don't implement it, because we want you to implement this information. So start with one ingredient and, start eliminating that and then move forward to the next. But it all starts, I know for me, when you stop consuming or significantly reduce your processed food intake, you pretty much avoid a lot of these ingredients.
Yeah.
So that's the approach that is easier for me. But you have to become label conscious in the foods that you eat and the products that you use on your body. You have to take responsibility. And one thing is like being label conscious, and two, preparing more foods at home or from a food place that they use real foods, and you'll avoid a lot of these harmful ingredients.
Yes. And just to one last thing, I had someone reach out to me the other day, a good friend of mine. He checked out my last 2 shows, and he shot me a text, and he was asking, what would be a good deodorant for him to use. Because a lot of people, they hear the show and they begin looking, and then you notice that everything is bad. So it's like, well, what the heck do I do? So I think it'll probably be a good show for us to look at some things out there that are actually good and they got it right. And then maybe we can let our listeners know some things out there, like some companies out there and products out there that got it right, so that we can take a lot of the research work out for them. A lot of people are busy, and they're like, well, I can't find anything, so I'm just going to have to, use this for now. So maybe we can give them a list of a deodorant, of a toothpaste, of, different things out there that are doing it right, so that they know, okay, well, I can research other things later if I want, but at least I know if I get these things, then I'm getting the right thing. So I think that'll be a good show.
Well, 2 things. I think, like you said, to share some healthier versions or a version that we recommend, but not to just point to the company, but to see what a good label should be like, because there's many companies that for whatever reason the ownership changes hands, and the same company that we knew today, they are not the same company 2 years from now in terms of the product. So I think I would rather focus on what a good deodorant looks like. Yeah,
so that they can see that for now.
Right.
And just know that you still need to check in.
Be label
periodically.
Conscious. Yes. You can't go on autopilot, because there's people, the front of the label looks the same, and then you turn it over and one little ingredient slipped in there and you're like, where did this come from? So I think that's more along the lines of what we should do.
Right.
And then secondly, we're working on some things in the future, our Health Warrior membership site. And I think in there, we're going to, just a little teaser, we're going to have a lot of things in there about diving deeper into reading labels and things of that nature. So that's something we can point people to as well.
What was the name of that company? They started out really good.
Naked.
Naked. That's a point example. Small farm company, made incredible bottled juices. I remember when I first met some of the owners of Naked. They had a little stand at Whole Foods. This had to be a good 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And I was impressed because the bottle was BPA free. It was a high grade bottle. They talked about the amount of fruits and vegetables in the juice, cold pressed, and it was a natural product, and it was as if someone just made it. Yeah, high fiber in the juice. They was making some good stuff, and the company got big, and they sold it to I believe to Pepsi, and Pepsi changed the formula. They went to a cheaper bottle. They changed the ingredients. It was fully pasteurized, and it was a different juice than it used to be. And they actually had a case against them if you were buying Naked under the premise that it was all natural and non-GMO. people were winning settlements, like
because
they
it's
paid
almost
out.
like false advertising.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say, a company is not going to stay the same. Ownership may change. They may start to get larger. So then they have to look at their overhead costs and they start to, the quality may go down or change. So it's always good to just understand how to read labels and some good examples.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that is the end, those 5 ingredients. I'm going to create a cheat sheet that you can access on our show notes page at jkhealthtribe.com/48 so that you can take those with you and, have it as a reference tool to use when looking at products in the future.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the conclusion of this episode, and hopefully you got some value from it. And until next time, live healthier.
Stay healthy, everyone. Peace and blessings.
We hope you enjoyed your time with Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe. To keep you on your path towards a happy, healthier lifestyle, we encourage you to visit jkhealthtribe.com for content to help you find your health balance. Thanks again, and we look forward to educating, empowering, and inspiring you to live healthier.